There will be a whole series of people, though, who are in the Greyhound community who probably do need some counselling just quietly at the moment, because the shock announcement this week from the Minister of Racing, Winston Peters, that Greyhound training and racing, Greyhound racing, indeed the entire industry, would cease from in 20 months, roughly 20 months' time, in 2026. There was urgency rushed through Parliament. I might add, all parties signed up for it. So there was no demur from any party or any member of Parliament as to this decision, or as to the fact that the legislation that was supported will mean that essentially you can't euthanise any dogs at all. So there's going to be roughly, at the moment, on current estimates, about 3,000 adult dogs. They're going to have to be rehomed after 2026, I assume. And then there are those who have litters at the moment are going to have to be added to that number as well. It's an extraordinary decision on any number of reasons. I've gave you those reasons why yesterday. But one of those who has been most affected, obviously, is somebody who's in the industry, one of the outstanding young greyhound trainers of New Zealand, Riley Evans, and he joins us now. Riley, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you on.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. It's good to have a platform to have a voice on our opinion on the decision. So yeah, cheers a lot for that.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because the mainstream media aren't being very sympathetic to your cause, are they?
No. Often they aren't on a number of cases and a number of industries, and we firmly believe that there's been a lot of manipulation on facts, as there has been for a long time. But yes, it's good to have a platform where we can speak properly.
Listen, mate, I yesterday raised, because I was interested in the facts. So what are the figures? What are the demonstrations that this is a problem industry? And I noticed in all the media reports that went out, including that the facts, so-called, had been provided not by the New Zealand government, but by SAFE and those animal activists and vegan madmen who run that particular show. And yet there were facts available to the media, particularly published by Greyhound Racing New Zealand, the Animal Welfare Quarterly Progress Report, the last one being the 31st of July, which really seemed to show on the face of it that there's not a problem at all, and if there is a one, it's very minor. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, it's not as big a problem as what anti-racing activists have blown it up to be. There's still injuries and deaths which can't be ignored, and any deaths too many. But you look a couple of seasons ago, there were 60 deaths, and last season we had that down to, I think the number was 9, and the year before that was 7. So that's coming a long way just on that, and we're actually leading the all three codes as far as animal welfare, and to be shut down for animal welfare is appalling.
Yes. I noticed last year, for example, in the quarterly report, finished 31st of July this year, you only had 9, throughout the entire season, only 9 dogs were euthanised due to an injury in a race. 4 died just because they died of a sudden death or something like that. That's 13 dogs altogether. Out of per 1,000 starters, it was 0.1 and 0.2%. It wasn't even 1%. Those are extraordinarily pathetic numbers to decide to cancel a sport in toto.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we think, and we've always tried to get our numbers down the best we can, and if we continued to go forward, that number would just slowly decrease. It's not unavoidable, but when you look at things that have been considered, like the newly built straight track in Wanganui and stuff like that, it's we're just continuing to go forward. So yeah, it was a real shock when the announcement was made on Tuesday.
Okay, take me through your particular circumstance. You're a greyhound trainer. What does a greyhound trainer look like? How many dogs do you have training? Who are the owners? How many staff do you have working for you?
Staff-wise, we have 5 full-time, including me and my parents, 2 others, and then we have two part-time. I've got 100 dogs, about 50 to 60 race dogs at any given time. And many millions invested in our property to give the dogs the best life we can. And now, or as of in 2 years' time, it'll be all but worthless. So yeah, a lot of history of our family working in the racing industry, harness and greyhounds, all to be no longer or based off facts that have been put out that aren't correctly, and a decision has been rushed to be made.
There are roughly, on the statistics that I've seen promoted in the media, so they might well be wrong, 2,900 dogs currently in training and or racing, and then roughly 1,000 people directly employed in the industry. Does that sound right to you?
Yes. Those numbers are pretty bang on. There's all those participants, but there's a lot more than that. That's probably, I would assume, that's just licence holders. You get a lot more people than that, the vets, kennel staff that work at the tracks, people that supply food, and it's a bigger chain reaction than I think they think it will be.
Take me through this. You know that animal activists have been after you for a while. They're after the rodeo industry for a while too, I have to say. Probably, still will be after this. This will only embolden them, I would imagine. But I'm interested in where... And so I'm not interested in vegans and animal activists. That's the potty people. They do what potty people do. Where did the move come from, though? And you must have given some thought to this in the last 48 hours. Where's the real move come from to get rid of greyhound racing, you think?
Sort of seeming like we're probably an easier target. The harness racing code's a much bigger code. Almost seeming like we're the small fish to fry, and they'll probably just work their way through and try to get rid of everyone.
Well, they will, but why? I mean, the thing that stuns me is, why you?
Yeah, it's we've heard that there's a deal being done with the horses. Nothing
now
really
you're
come
talking.
out yet, but
now you're talking.
We've heard there's a deal come out with the horses that it'll if we were to go, then they'll back off the horses. So we've pretty much been thrown under the bus as far as we're concerned to save horse racing. So instead of being backed by the racing minister, we've been he's pretty much got rid of us to save another industry instead of backing us like he should have. So
you think that you're the sacrificial lambs, literally,
firmly believe that.
Yeah, and so. It's so that the government can say to anybody else, particularly the animal activists and the like, look, we've done this to the greyhound industry, we've shut them down. We're serious that's how serious we are about animal welfare. You're right, though, you can only play that game for so long, because sooner or later the animal activists, I would imagine they just think, right, today greyhounds, tomorrow horse racing, I would have thought.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that on social media posts, and they're all saying the harness game's next. So they're in the firing line now.
Well, it's a particularly barren strategy. Listen, what do you know, if anything, because Winston Peters was giving every indication just a few months ago, for Pete's sake, that your future was assured. He was talking about, greyhounds love to run in answer to questions about the review. Why do you think he changed his mind? Was it just because of those racing reasons?
Yeah, just pressure from activists. There's been a lot of pressure lately, and as we just said before, I believe he's sort of had to switch stances and get rid of greyhound racing to save the horse racing game. He's a racing man, but he's mainly a horse racing man. So he's just binned us off, really.
Listen, so what's going to happen with you in practical terms? What are you going to have to do before 2016?
Sort of unsure at the moment. We're sort of going through that now as a family. We're very, very unsure of what will happen to the dogs. I think 20 months to rehome nearly 3,000 dogs is a joke, and the fact that he thinks that can happen shows how much he doesn't know about greyhound racing. We're currently rehoming 600 a year at the moment and breeding around 500. So that'll all stop now, the breeding side. But we would at least need 4 or 5 years to slowly phase out. But 20 months isn't long enough. And after 20 months, we'll have no income to pay to feed our dogs. at the moment we're $4,000 to $5,000 a week to run our place. So that's near on $200,000 a year. So pretty much after that 20 months, we're going to have no income to try and take care of all these dogs, which, yeah, it's going to be very, very hard to do. So I wonder who's going to pay for that, whether that'll have to come out of our pocket, which won't be able to happen with no income, or the government will have to pay. So, yeah, it's left us in a really terrible spot. Our main priority is the dogs. We've committed ourselves to them, and that's what we want to do for the future, and you can't walk away now. So, yeah, we're going to still do our best taking care of our dogs like we always have, and, yeah, look for options after this part of our life's over.